Well, hello there, everybody. Welcome YouTube, Facebook. We will be getting started shortly. I feel Devin is about to pull up in here in a minute. Yes. I'm excited about tonight's topic. I think we're going to go a lot of different ways. I think you guys will be excited about it too. Gotta do it. Talking up, coming in now. Talking up. Yeah. That's how it works. Like when you're in a business call and you're trying to stall, and you're like, yeah, so-and-so will be in a couple minutes. I think they're wrapping up the call. Oh, there they are. Bless you. Oh, I get it. Luke. So we will be getting started. Yeah, man. Shortly. Welcome. It's like the load up. I'm here.
Welcome to another episode of Above Average Black Men. We got Devin here. He just came in.
Christian, as always, here to empower, inspire, and uplift the community.
Devin Pender, here to remind you to like, follow, subscribe, share, comment, interact with us.
Yes, give us more. Like energy. Give us. We need it. Let's go. I'm ready.
Yeah, let's go. Tonight's topic, we're going to talk about freedom. You know, we talked about this last year. I was going back researching for past shows. We did talk about last year, but I think it's in a different context now. I mean, one, because of what's going on with ICE and immigration, and two, you and I were talking about it. Is freedom the reason why what we're seeing this generation? The choices people make, the things they do. You know, we were just talking about a certain type of behavior. You know, so we can unpack a lot of stuff here, man. Even, you know, we got President Trump tearing down the back of the White House because he can. So, you know, where do we start? This interesting part. Where do we start, man?
But I think all of our freedoms are under attack. You know,
What's an example?
Our freedom of speech, our freedom to think differently, like our freedom to learn certain things. I think slowly things are being taken away from us that we just are not in an uproar about. Like, and I think ICE is just kind of a microcosm of all the other things that can potentially happen to anybody and everybody that kind of opposes what's going on. If we don't all eventually have to like wake up, I think everybody's freedom, regardless of Democrat, Republican, is at stake here. Like, I really do think like we get so caught up in all the back and forth of like just kind of debating all these little small, minute things that I just feel like in the broader spectrum of things, like we got people in charge who do not care about how things were ran previously and how things are supposed to be ran moving forward. And they're very comfortable with restricting our access from things or to things in order to preserve and I think enrich what they ultimately have going on. Like to me, I mean, it's almost a little blatant, but I think because when you probably have years and years and years of this foundation of just kind of dismantling so many things, like I think people have lost fight or like even that sense or ability to come together on something or anything. We saw it a little bit, like I think still even not too much, but the government shut down. It was like certain individuals just like, oh, you're not gonna pay the military, like that's gonna be nuts.
Yeah, man.
It's like little things here and there that you see we can still kind of rally behind to like get something going. Like when Jimmy Kimmel was
drummed off
booted temporarily. Like it didn't matter, honestly, what side you were, right or left. I think people were just upset at the idea of like, whoa, like you're taking away somebody's ability to voice, voice their opinion. It's something that wasn't necessary. I think that Vulgar or anything, it was a decent joke to me. I found it pretty funny.
But it wasn't about the vulgarity of the joke. It was about him disagreeing with the current regime. Yeah, with the current regime.
And that's a problem. I think that's again restricting. I think people saw that a little bit and was like, whoa, you kind of infringing upon my freedom with that. You know, people saw a little bit of themselves in that. And I think that spoke volumes as to what is like one thing still that we kind of care about is that ability to say whatever you want.
But I think that was more so. A lot of famous people drove that too. By the way, a lot of famous people got involved.
But people was canceling, you know, the thing you say the most. It was in the dollars. People was canceling they Hulu and all anything that was related to ABC, cutting it off.
But that goes to show you the power of the dollar.
The dollar.
If you really get behind what you really believe, it could really make real change.
But I think the problem is, I mean, we have taken and we still take our freedoms away. And we don't get upset when they're threatened because we just believe some boss is going to deal with it. Like when I talk to people about the book banning, not even particularly African American books, just books in general, how dangerous that is. You know, because somebody could turn around and says, okay, this book about, you know, the Revolutionary War, we don't like, we won't take it out. You know, like where do you stop? You know, where do you stop? You know, if it's based on somebody's opinion, what they don't think, you know, should be a part of history. Like even in museums, you know, you talking about they want to close the African American history museums because they highlight a part of history that paints things in negative, but you keep in the slavery part from the other context of it, from the white ownership part of it, like the Confederate flag and things like that. So I think people we take it for granted, man. And you made a good point about I think it's when famous people get involved, the not so famous people get involved. I think if they do get involved, if they don't get involved, you know, the not so famous people don't get involved. I think it took famous people coming out and saying cancel Disney, you know what I mean, saying it for people to say, okay, we're going to do it. But I just don't, and I could be wrong. I don't see a history of people just doing it on their own. You know what I mean? Yeah. People just getting together and saying, you know, without somebody famous jumping in there and saying,
people doing it. Instance, I definitely think it was like, you know, the news was kind of rallied up behind it. I mean, one thing I saw you just kind of related to just speaking about news and freedom. Like with head chef, the Department of War, like
the press corps. That's crazy, man.
With the press, where he's saying that in order to like print anything about the Department of War, it has to be ran through them first. Like, you can't print or write anything. And he tried to get all the media outlets to sign this document that says that.
Well, because when Napoleon
Hill,
people sign?
No, Napoleon, not even Fox.
But Napoleon Hill said it. If people don't read history, don't repeat it. And people don't realize this is how Hitler got started. You know, you start out small and you build up. This is how Mussolini. Mussolini, a lot of dictators started out that way. They started out just one step, but they didn't. And I think people are mistaken. They think people come out and just try to do everything at one time. No, they do it a little bit at a time. Gradually, they do it to take, and then before you know it, it's like Russia. You know, you have no rights. It's a dictatorship. They're telling you what to do, when to do it, how to do it, and if you can do it. But I think America has gotten so spoiled that we take it for granted, man. That there's certain rights. Like another thing that's ironic talking about is how they want to disarm Gaza. I was talking to somebody about that. They want them to lay down their arms. But I said, this is the same country defending it. The Second Amendment. I got a right to carry arms. So it's like, how hypocritical is that when we want to disarm them, but over here you won't even pass laws that make sense to reduce the gun violence. But I think we get used to our freedoms, man, and even when it don't make sense. Like gun violence. Why do you have to go by automatic weapon on demand? It can't be a waiting period. I mean, you can't go through certain texts. It just doesn't make sense to me. If you got to buy a gun right there, that moment, something is wrong. Either somebody chasing you or you chasing somebody. But I think we get comfortable, man, just like the books. And nobody pays attention until they start banning the book. Like, for instance, because right now they're targeting African American history, and people with alternative lifestyles. But they start talking Jewish books and stuff like that, it's gonna be a whole new ballgame. Watch everybody start getting up for it.
And
It's gonna be a whole new
I'm not
ballgame.
gonna be touching that,
But I'm just saying though, but systematically they can, because once you start getting into other stuff, it's easy to do those. To keep going with.
It is an injustice anywhere. What is it? Injustice here is justice anywhere.
Yeah.
Everywhere. I think that certainly rings true and has, like you said, been evident over time. Like where it's things that you can see that has happened, I would say probably within the black community that now has been, it's kind of like the test. It's like the Tuskegee of running things on the entire country. And I think like now in this day and time, it's brown people just kind of using ICE. Like, and that idea that you were just saying in regards to them just taking books and kind of restricting what people learn, I think it's going to come a time where we're like living in a movie. I kind of can see it. Like I literally just see it. Where they're going to be banning anything and everything that they just feel has a sense of giving them a bad look.
And it's not pro-America.
Like right now, quote unquote pro-America.
Anything they disagree with. But see, people don't realize that. People, they think it's
I
okay.
was about to talk about Trump. And did you see the AI post that he had?
No.
From oh my goodness. So he posted this video or this image from, what was the protest that we just had? America.
Oh,
No King.
No King.
No King.
I saw a bunch of people.
Sorry guys.
In King
No
of
King.
Prussia doing that.
Yeah, they had it everywhere. But he had
it was everywhere.
posted this AI image of him flying a fighter jet like he was in Top Gun and releasing pretty much poop on all of the protesters.
And
Like, this is our president.
That's the president of the United States.
That right there shows you that there's an attack on our freedoms and our liberties.
But people defend
we
him.
have-
That's the problem.
A maniac at the helm.
People defend him, and that's the
Like,
problem. Yeah. People, they sit back and they, because it's not them. It's the same thing with the immigrants. If you know your history, and I share this with some African Americans, if you know your history, that's how it was with black people. Remember, we used to have you had to have your papers. You couldn't walk around without your papers to say you were free. You couldn't be caught in certain parts of town after dark, and it's still like that. So now,
Like that,
yeah. So history is repeating itself. You see the same. It's just a different group of people. But pretty soon it's going to, because it's going to cross over. Because think about it. All you got to do is like they just not just, but last week they arrested a cop in Chicago, born and raised there, on the police force, and they arrested him because he looked like he was from this. So now it's coming. But that's what it's coming down to. You look at people now, and you can determine whoever that ICE person is can say, "Yo, I don't like that person. They look like that." And that's what's happening.
They're gonna start doing on people they just don't like.
You gotta be careful.
Yeah.
They did something wrong to them, or they got the promotion.
Or you say something the wrong way, or you get a bigot over it. But they paying them guys $50,000 signing bonus. So anybody sign up, man. So for that, people.
Think about that. They trying to get an army. I've seen this movie and I've seen this
Yeah.
TV show. They just got
Yep.
a over amount of these like militarized people that they not police.
They're not anything.
But
They
they're not
rejects.
but they're not the military, right?
Yeah.
Right. Those are the most dangerous ones. They just been waiting for this moment.
Yep.
They couldn't get in anywhere.
Anyway.
So now they said, you mean to tell me ICE? You mean all y'all need to know is I at least applied and failed a couple times?
And
I
what's
can
the
get
training
in?
price?
I don't know what is training.
Do you have a mask? Yes.
But see, I think, and that's the part I'm saying, people don't understand whenever some
Come with
race
your
or
own
people or
tactical
some
weapon.
group, get their rights violated and nobody says anything, it's going to spread. Because bigots just don't pick on one group of people. They don't like anybody that's not like them. You know what I mean? They don't. So don't get confused if they're taking away somebody's rights that yours is not coming next. And I think that's where we are, because we take for granted. I can go to not the library anymore, but I can just Google any book and it's going to come up. We take it for granted. We take it for granted that look at our schools. Our schools have been deteriorating for forever, man. And we so busy stuck on I got a right to go to this, but a right also means equal access and equal quality. And we've lost track of that. We just because we can go to any school we want to go to. Yeah, but I think that's part. Well, I know I gotta stop saying that. That's part of the problem, because people think freedom stops there, or they don't understand that freedom comes with accountability.
Infrastructure.
Yeah.
I think even just to kind of running from our schools, because our
Yeah.
schools are falling apart all over the place.
Yeah.
Bridges and buildings falling apart, and like just kind of vacancies in a lot of different places. I think that's also another thing that kind of ultimately hinges upon our freedoms as well.
Well, they're closing.
Y'all don't even take care of the stuff that y'all put here for
They're
us.
closing 2025 schools.
Wow.
They're closing
So
2025
now,
schools. They're closing
now
2025
not
schools.
only do I have to, we gotta pay like absorbent amounts of money for
Mhm.
everything. And then on top of that, like it seems like nothing's being taken care of. The roads are trash. The buildings are falling apart.
Because this
It's
goes
like
back to
we are just working cogs in a machine at this point. I feel like.
well, Martin Luther King began to question, you know, after he won Brown versus Board of Education,
Mm-hmm.
and he began to question that. You know, was it the right thing to do? Because when we were separate, we had doctors, we had lawyers, we had our own towns, we had our own banks. Like I was watching something the
They
other
don't
day.
want to take care of us.
But see, we thought being a part of it, we thought having access means we would have access to the same things, and we didn't. For instance, when we started going to schools, they left the school, but they took the resources.
Mm-hmm.
They left the building, so you had a building that was a school, but they took all the resources. You know, so you're in this building, so you did gain access to the building, but now you got books, so you don't have enough books. You got books that's 4 or 5 years old. You behind, I think, but we so busy saying that's my right, that we forget about the things that come with it.
And I think that it almost feels like just in the sense, like man, that was a methodical plan right there to get.
It was, man, it was.
Like, and we got to shut this down and stop it. Like, how do we do this, but we still get what we ultimately want?
Because somebody figured out one. Somebody figured out a long time ago now that if you, the perfect example when they ended slavery, and everybody was celebrating that they ended slavery. Oh, slavery's over, we're free. You weren't free because they didn't give you any resources. So the very people you thought you had to get away from, you had to go back still depend on to survive.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just the same thing. It's just now. They just moved it. It's a different way. They're doing it differently, but it's just now. You know, yeah, we got our own, but look at our own. So now we still got to go. The people look different than us, and that's the problem. And then the other part of the problem is because we so busy get caught up on the letter of the law about freedom that we forget what we were being free to do, like what we originally tried, what we really tried to accomplish. We weren't really accomplishing just to get out of slavery. We were going to accomplish, to build a life, to do things differently, to have our own, not just to be free to be mediocre to walk around. And that's still part of the problem that we're dealing with right now.
Yeah.
You know, I'm free, but you free to do what? To commit crime, to live a life of mediocrity. What are you free to do? But I got rights. That's my right. You hear it all the time. You hear it all the time, man. I'm dealing with parents who they talk about the rights of their kids, man. Your kid is a terror, man. Your kid's a terror. What about the rights of other kids he's violating? But that's never part of the conversation. Or what about that? We get your kid the help they need.
And I was just thinking about like what ultimately is freedom. Freedom. Yeah, it's like just access, like this the open access to that ability to be able to, I guess, get what you need when you need it.
I think one thing's about freedom that because I was thinking about this a lot is like love. There's so many different definitions.
Yeah.
And you got people coming together using the same word but talking about two different definitions. You know what I mean? It's like two totally different definitions, man. And
time,
because some people think free. I can just walk out this house and do what I want to do. There's a responsibility that comes with it. What do you walk out of the house to do? I can go to any school I want to go to. Yeah, but if every school you go to is falling down, is that really good? If every school you go to that you allow you to go to doesn't have resources, is that really good? Like now, they take it all. You take up Black history and all stuff like that. So yeah, I'm free to study this course, but there's no books. Well, now I'm studying not real American history, what I want you to know. Like when a couple months ago I was talking to somebody, they were talking about revolutions and people, the way people act and everything, and the people march and everything. I said, yeah, but they did this thing called the Boston Tea Party that was very similar, that changed history.
Yeah.
And the only difference was instead of masks, they dressed up like Indians. They tried to camouflage what they were doing. But so it's funny how, again, if you don't know your history, you say stuff. Trump was talking about make America great again, and I had to point this out to a Caucasian person too. He names all these inventions that America had. Every last one of them has been about a black person.
Yeah.
And he didn't realize that. Yeah,
It's a long list.
Yeah, he didn't realize that.
Right? I was like, you doing that?
No, he didn't know because
No,
most Caucasian people don't know.
So listen, I think that he was pandering.
Nah,
Somebody probably gave him a list and he's like, yo, this is really gonna rouse some people up.
I don't think so. I think
He might not have known he was all black, but I think somebody on the team was like,
well, I would agree. But there's people who I talk to who have no idea.
start a fire.
Who have no idea. It's a white pastor who says that. He was chastising his church because people in this church used to say the same thing. Go back to where you came from. Take everything that belonged to you. So he decided he was going to put this sermon together, and he was going to list all the things that black people invented. And he asked them like, "Well, how you living now?" So it was kind of funny, But there's a lot of people and African Americans who don't know the contributions black people made. Like the very White House's Benjamin Banneker did it from memory because they didn't pay the guy from France. They didn't pay the guy. They didn't pay him, so he left and took the plans with him.
That's why they tore down the wing so they could say they're a white man.
But but people don't. So you'd be surprised if people they don't know about the stop. They don't know about the stoplight, the gas mask, the automobile. They don't know all that stuff, man.
And that's again
They don't
what
know.
you were kind of referencing about the idea of freedom. Like people think that they have freedom just because they can go to a school.
Yeah.
But it's like, what is the quality of that school?
Yeah.
Like especially when you can see clearly as day in certain or other neighborhoods, again, I kind of call it freedom is access. They got access to what they would need to actually kind of take advantage of some of the freedoms that we have, which is either this freedom of speech or freedom to go to this school or freedom to do this. And I just think that we are under attack, like I said, at every level, on both levels. And our freedoms are dwindling away day by day. Right in front of us. And we're going to wake up one day and we're like, what? When did Trump wake up? When did we change the title of president to
dictator?
Emperor? Dictator. Like, it's going to be something like,
yeah, but I think you summed it up. I think what you realize is intentional and purposeful. People don't. People just don't pay attention, man. They don't realize that. I go way back, and I know I'm going to get some slack for this. I go back to when Roe versus Wade came, and I was telling people be careful because Christians thought it was just about abortion. It wasn't. It was about him seeing if he can manipulate the Supreme Court. And once he figured out he could do it, now he asked me, I can go back and get them to pretty much do anything I want now. And people miss the whole point of that. He was smart enough to make it about pro-life because he knew Christians not going to do the homework. He's going to jump on that one thing, not realizing Trump was never been pro-life in his life until it was time to be in office. Mm-hmm. People weren't paying attention, not realizing that pro-life is not just in the womb. It's from the from the cradle to the grave. So because the same people that voted for that, voted for him because he said he was pro-life, you for the death penalty. You for cutting all these programs right now that's keeping people alive.
I remember just changing the pro-baby.
Huh? Yeah, so probably more adequate because what happens is, and for instance, the same person who says they for him because he's pro-life, you don't want and I'm not condoning this, so make it abundantly clear, but the program that's helping this single mom keep this kid alive, you cut him. So you keep, you can't have it both, but they do. They want to have it both ways.
It's like dogs. They only care about them when they're young. In certain breeds.
What did I say? What did I say last week? What did I say last week? 85%. 85% of people I believe in this country. I really believe 85% of these people in this country are selfish. I do. I believe 85% is about themselves, man.
It's a dangerous place to be.
It's all about themselves, man. So the way they vote, the way they act, it's like immigration.
Because you divide and conquer. Divide and conquer. Like if you can only look at the world from the lens of your little circle or yourself.
Well, and you throw hate in there. There's some people,
that too.
There's some people who don't like people who don't look like them so much
for no reason
that they do. Like you look at farmers who voted for him, not realizing the very people you voted for him, the people he told he's going to deport were the people that was keeping you alive. That was your livelihood. Now you can play.
They thought we was going to come in and save them.
Yeah, so that's the problem, and then you hear the farmers, I didn't know. What do you mean you didn't know? He told you. He wasn't going to sit and just, okay, this group of immigrants we're not going to deport. We're just going to deport this group. So that's the problem right there.
He's not my guys.
Yeah, that's the problem, man. And, and even you grabbing somebody off the steps, man. You're doing this. It's going to spread to now. Like Devin said earlier, I don't like you.
Mm-hmm.
So like the first lady they grabbed, and this whole thing started because she wrote a paper 5 years ago about the United States and everything. So it's 5 years ago, and they
Years ago.
But where do you draw the line and where you stop? And that's what I don't understand.
How does it not scare you?
Well,
you can't travel through
but
the
think about
airport.
it.
Come on, I did hear about that.
You paying ICE agents $50,000 signing bonus, but you can't pay teachers. Well, we understand. You can't pay teachers, but you can pay these guys a signing bonus to go out and lock people up and hurt people and all kind of stuff. But you can't pay teachers.
And what's crazy about this? They doing all this mass recruiting.
Yeah.
It's not that many brown people there.
Yeah, but you know what? Hate has always been.
They gonna need more work.
But hate has always been a driving force for things that happen in this country.
They're gonna need more work.
I mean, they use hate when they made everybody. People didn't even know the Indians came west to fight the Indians, man, because they were savages and all that stuff about them. If you look at even with slavery, the way black people were treated, most people had never saw a black person. It came out. Where did it come out of? It came out of the fact that, hey, guess what? Somebody said this is who black people are, and people just started believing it, and just got perpetuated to where we are now. Think about it. If you live in a state like Kentucky, one of the poorest states, man, but you vote Republican all the time. You vote Republican all the time, man. You live in a place like Kentucky, man, and you don't have benefits. Most people there are poor, going through things up in the mountains, but you vote Republicans. Why? Because Republicans draw this line and make you think Democrats or poor people, which you one of, poor brown people are the enemy. They get stuff for free. All this, all that. And when somebody buys that, they've sacrificed themselves, man. And that's what you see right now. Some people vote not realizing it's going to impact them. It's going to impact them, man. And like I'm talking to some of these kids, and I'm telling them, and I'm talking to a group of adults. There was a 15-year-old girl out here who shot the boyfriend in the head when they in Jenkintown. I don't know if you heard about
yes, I did.
So.
But
I'm talking to people, but I'm talking about pay attention to what you're doing because check this out. There used to be a time where it was illegal to put a minor's picture in the paper.
Oh yeah.
This girl was 15 years old, put a picture, her address, everything up there. Yeah, man. And they would say, well, they're trying to figure out what they're gonna do. Right away, we charge them as adult. People don't understand that. Right away, they know no hesitation, no, we're gonna think about it. Right away, we charge them as adult. Wow, they send a message. You come out here and do a crime in Montgomery County, we ain't playing with you.
And it
we ain't playing with you. Yeah, it was illegal. You couldn't put a minor.
I was like, yo, they show her picture
right away. Right, that same thing. So, but you have brown people who don't see that. Like I'm reading some of the comments, and people were, and she killed him, and that was wrong. People worried about, well, what was she doing over there anyway in the middle of the day? Come on, really? Well, what kind of mom did the boy have? Because let the girl stay there while she. I mean, but this is the kind of stuff I'm saying. How you distract people, who people miss the bigger picture. Then people argue because, they said it was Jenkintown. That ain't Jenkintown. That's Abington.
Right. I saw those.
Like, who cares? Yeah.
Are we really sitting here talking about
somebody lost 2 lives of one and 2 families are devastated, and that's what I'm telling you. But this is
the line between the 2 counties right next to each other. It has to at some point change.
And do you think that boy's mom or that girl's mom cared what was Jenkintown? No. But this goes back to what I'm saying.
Same hospital.
Yeah, but this is where we don't understand. We think that's allowed because we have freedom. But freedom comes with responsibility. And I think that's the part that people miss. And freedom should come with integrity. It should come with character. Freedom doesn't mean that you can't, or I can do what I want to do. Like I tell you again, how hypocritical the country is, because they can print and say whatever they want and say they make stuff up. But the minute somebody says something they don't disagree with, no, you can't say that.
I was just about to say that.
But you can click and put stuff up. It's not true.
We should also be scared where it's a total different set of rules. For, we'll say the oligarchs, the people that are like the elitists up there, right, versus the rest of us. It's a whole different set of rules again. Like, even from a political standpoint, man, like remember Nixon and Watergate, they was out here, they actually were pursuing it, you know what I mean? And that was right and left. It was like, yo, this is unacceptable. Like, we have some type of moral standings, and we got like, boom, we going after it. But it's like all those things are out the window. It's like when Trump said he could go out in the middle of the street and shoot somebody.
Yep.
Whew.
If any other person that would run over the president said that, automatically you had to drop out.
Imagine if Obama said that.
I don't even want to talk about him saying it. It's getting to the point where he almost might be able to shoot.
Well, think about now. You know he they don't call it suing, but he's trying to get money from the United States government because he claimed they harassed him when they went out.
I saw that.
How you didn't submit, you didn't get his stuff back when you were supposed to, but he's for millions of dollars. This is the president of the United States who the Supreme Court said you can't do anything to them, but now he's turning around trying to build the United States $1 million, billions of dollars, matter of fact, millions of dollars.
Every last citizen should be in the uproar because that is our money.
And check it out. And the two people who have to approve it, two people he appointed.
He's suing us.
Well, they don't say he's suing. That's the thing that cracked me up. They don't call it suing.
No,
he billed basically. You submitted this bill is basically what they're saying. But you're right. He is suing. Really, he's suing. Yeah.
To us.
Yeah.
Like that's our
exactly.
money.
Yeah. Yep.
That he is claiming, and like
he first should have been locked up because he perjured himself. They said, yo, you got to return the documents. He returned like 35 documents, signed the affidavit saying that all it was. Then they went there, they found close to 300. If that were you, we locked up. So how you now turn around and say you suing because you felt like they harassed you? How? How is it? But that's where we are now. That's exactly where we are now, man. And people are not upset by it. People are not upset by it. People are not. I'm thinking,
baffling to. I was. Because you always had to question almost anything, everything now. So. Yeah, it was so outlandish. I was like, this is no way. Like, is this dude that crazy? And my brain can't even comprehend, like, what can happen next? I say this, I feel like every.
Well, I don't think it's crazy. I don't think it's crazy. I don't think it's crazy. I think it's arrogant.
Yo!
I think he's just arrogant, man, that he feels like he can do whatever he wants to do because nobody challenges him. And he's right.
We said this before the show. It's not even a year.
And it seems like it's been 10 years. He just do what he want to do.
I'm convinced people around him got to get some kind of kickback to just let all of that.
That's a crazy
kickbacks and rivalries, without a doubt. Like, yo.
That's a crazy.
Listen, when I become president for life,
what other endeavors I got going
I
on?
got you locked in.
Because we don't understand that freedom has a cost. And it does. Freedom has a cost, man. And this goes back to we think, and freedom is not one-sided. Freedom should not be only the elected officials can be free to do what they want to do. Just like now, another perfect example. The lady, I forget where she's from, she's supposed to be sworn in. They refuse to sworn in. So that means, taxation without representation because you're taxing those people and they don't have representation for their district. Her constituents, and then the Republicans turn around and say, well, she needs to just come in anyway and represent her constituents. She can't because she's not sworn in yet. So I'm sitting this whole thing, but people say that's freedom. Hey, we got the right to do what we want to do. That's why, what kind of work says this whole freedom thing is just stressed out. It's just stressed in so many different directions now, man, that it's crazy. It is crazy.
It's called freedom until it's something that you're against.
It's gonna be
they
have freedom and we don't. That's
but it's moving slowly toward it. As a politician, I can do and say whatever I want to say. I can get on TV, do all kinds of stupid stuff, man. But the minute you say something, I'm gonna sue you for slang.
And in my mind too, like I think just kind of thinking about where we are from a political standpoint, it's like, man, are we so far in like to this nonsense? Can I see us ever going back to just kind of a civil discourse?
No. Yeah, no, but it's going to take. It's going to take. I think we will. I think it's going to take generations. I think there's like
generations for sure.
No, what I'm saying is just.
Have you seen those texts that come out between some of the?
Well, that's why I said. But that's why I said it's going to take generations.
That is generations. It was
not
40 in there.
But that's not the end of generations. I didn't say specific generation. But it's going to change. Just like. Is racism ever going to go away? No, because they never talk about it. But just like slavery and all those things eventually kind of tempered itself, we like the civil rights and kind of stuff like that. It's going to go around again. Is it ever going to go away completely? No, I do agree with 200%. But there comes a time when Sully is going to start. It's going to be a little more subtle. I just think now. I don't think, honestly, no, honestly, I don't think it's gonna happen time, but I just think it's gonna be a time, it's gonna be a little more settled. But I say this all the time. When I talk to people, when I'm talking to groups of different people, I say it all the time. My biggest fear is that my grandson is gonna grow up in a time worse than I did. And it's not supposed to be like that. It should be better for each generation. I look at if things continue the course it's running right now, it's gonna be worse for him than it was for us.
Yeah, he's gonna be one of the good ones.
Yeah, but I think about the population that I work with, and we were talking about it, and somebody was saying, well, you were different. No, I was blessed to be able to raise my family in a different environment. There's people down who don't have that luxury. They can't move out to neighborhood. They don't have enough money. They don't have where to go. So they're kind of stuck there, and they are trying to make the best of it. But then you got some who just kind of go along and get along. I was talking to a lady the other day, and she said, yeah, it was kind of funny. She took a dig at North Philly. She said, yeah, man, my first husband, was from the suburbs, and we had a great relationship. Everything was fine, man. Unfortunately, he passed away. She said, I married this guy from North Philly, man. She said, I would never do it again. She said, we separated. He said, the block I live on is great. There's like 8 houses left, and they all work and everything. But she said, soon you go anywhere in any different direction, you're in a different place. Yeah, and it's like night and day. So but people think that's freedom.
What part of that?
No, but people who live around it, I'm free to do what I want to do. And again, not realizing that freedom comes with a cost. And go back to my original point, she's saving, she wants to go, but she's a single mom trying to make it happen. It's hard for her, but she do want to get out, move her kid out. So some people can't go. So I say that because this freedom that we just ignore and don't pay attention to, it's not just about us. It impacts so many other people.
Yes.
And we don't look at it that way. Like somebody's grandkid is never gonna learn if they take all the books out. They're not gonna learn anything about African American history.
Nope.
They're gonna grow up thinking they went from slavery to now. No in between. Yeah.
They won't learn about just kind of
this life was always fair.
Life, just like life has changed for so many of us, and how we can continue to grow and educate yourself. It's funny how there are certain things here where we say never forget, but then we just want to erase everything.
I was having a conversation with a Caucasian. We were talking about sports, and they were saying how in football, that there can be no collusion because of what they're doing with traders. So I said, well, Shador. So I said, well, let me ask you a question. He was a young guy. I said, go back and look at your history, because there was a time where black quarterbacks coming to college had to become receivers or running backs. They wouldn't let them go out for the position. Yeah. So how can you tell me there's no collusion? That's what they did back then. They made a decision that, we're not gonna put these guys at quarterback. It was a league-wide decision. So fast forward.
I don't know. I think some of that was there just like bias and.
No, but it still was a league. The bias fed it, but it was a league-wide decision. You're right. It was all about prejudice and bias, but everybody in the league decided to do it.
Even the Rudy.
Yeah, think about it. Yeah, everybody. So, and that's why it came about, because I agree, was all about bias and prejudice, but they agreed to do it. That's collusion. Whenever a group of people get together and decide someone else's future, that in the workforce, so they got together and said, we're not gonna let them play. So they came out, even with the head coaches. Why you got to put the rule in place? Why? Because they weren't doing it. Now they just interview them. They don't even hire them now. But so it's the same thing, because for a time they thought they weren't smart enough. We weren't smart enough.
I was about to say, I think they ultimately have some deep-rooted feelings and sentiments and thoughts and feelings about people that look like us being able to be within certain.
Let's go back to Shador again, and I'm so glad somebody kind of spoke up. LaShawn McCoy, which is always seems to be, people are speculating now that he ain't playing because he not studying. He was on the sideline with his arms folded like this. Shador. Everybody saying, everybody coming up with all these Caucasian coaches coming with all these reasons, and none of them are right. You don't know. You speculate.
Oh, yeah, that was very trying.
Yeah, I don't want to say.
I see.
Yeah, and what's the other dude, Orlowski, whatever his name is, and it was funny because he got upset because Ryan Clark said it, but I agree with Ryan Clark. How do all these ex-players who are terrible become experts all of a sudden? And it's always an expert when it comes to African Americans. When it comes to Lamar or Jake, like the same stuff you saying about him, you saying about Lamar. Mm-hmm. The same stuff Lamar never going to be a pocket pass. He's always going to be a running back. So again, when you start getting together and people start thinking like that, whether it's intentional or not, it's collusion. When you get back and say this group of people can't do this, and so I think, but then go back to our original conversation. What do they tell you? Well, I'm free. I'm free to say what I say. I'm free to think what I want to think. That's the first comeback everybody says. Not that it's right. Not that it's not racist or biased, but I'm free to say it. And I think that freedom has gone so far now that people don't even think. They say whatever they want to do. Like the person who made the decision to take Jimmy Kimmel off. Come on, man. You know, what made you think you had the power to take somebody off TV right then and there? You know, in that moment. Wow, because I got the right to.
And that shit is scary.
It is scary.
You don't have the right to. You don't have the right to.
But to your point, look what had to happen. Subscriptions had to be canceled, man. Stars had to come out and say, like the lady, the She-Hulk, said she wasn't going to do the Disney thing. The She-Hulk walked away. The lady who played the She-Hulk, which I don't get the She-Hulk anyway.
I mean,
but she just said,
I'm not gonna lie, that did not move the
It wasn't. That's like, okay.
Oh no, but it did for some people because she's
sorry.
No, because you're looking at it wrong. You look at it
doing the Hulk.
You do not validate.
No, but you looking at it wrong. You look at the fact that she walked away from the part. The part is that was for her is a big deal because she didn't have any big parts. So it's what she stood for. And I agree with you. The She-Hulk, the title and the movie itself, but the fact that she was willing to walk away from something that it's a big deal for her. That was a big deal for her. Now I'm not exactly not to the She-Hulk either, but I'll use it as an example that but it's
I would have been like, yo, do the movie, cancel your subscription.
Yeah.
Don't watch it. Just don't watch it.
I respect that for that. Anthony, a lot of people came out and said, yo, Anthony, I said, I'm not doing this. You know, there were even some white actors came out and said, you know, because then you had two people.
It's crazy that
Scott Baio and what's the other dude? Scott Baio and Kid Rock, two people who told you over here talking about they're not gonna patronize Hollywood anymore. Like, who cares about either one of y'all? Y'all like 40 years old because they are, you know, they for all this nonsense.
Actually, Maggie might care about Kid Rock.
No, but I'm talking about people who watch Disney.
He's
they
doing
don't
the
care.
Super Bowl halftime show. Kid Rock.
Nah.
Yeah, they're doing an alternate one. Y'all didn't know that?
Oh yeah, that's what I was telling y'all last week.
Which one y'all gonna watch? I ain't watching.
Yeah, they might have an alternate one. You know?
Well, okay, I don't know if this is
crazy. I know more about the Kid Rock words.
You gotta help me out here. I don't know if it's true or not, so I don't want to put the spreaders out there. But since we're talking about freedom, we gotta talk about Michael Jordan because I saw something where Michael Jordan was not he was not feeling Bad Bunny either.
Really?
I don't know if it's true or not. I don't know. See, I don't like you. I don't know if it's AI or not. I just saw a story that
that's because Mike must have got his heart broke by something young and Bad Bunny. Because he be making some bangers. And I know you be partying, right?
What is freedom? But no, because and especially people who get money, they think they just know their freedom is different than ours. They just know their freedom is different than ours, man. They got money.
That's actually another interesting part right there. They got a different set and level of freedom.
Yeah.
That your tax bracket can afford. But I was just actually thinking about this too, in terms of like with all of our freedoms, kind of again not being able to, how it's been dwindling away over time. Like even just thinking about the ability to buy a home or like plan or like build, like everything is getting absurdly expensive, but your pay staying the same. They want you to struggle.
But it's another way to redline. It's another way to stop people from a certain income bracket and moving into certain neighborhoods.
And you almost get capped off. Where it's like, unless you like doing things tremendously where you can like get a loan and maybe go to school, get some type of skill or trade, and like be able to put yourself in a better off position, like. And it's with even thinking about getting loans and all that stuff, you gotta have good credit. And like unfortunately, like people sometimes get down in a hole and just be doing things that they need to feel like they do what they gotta do and can't pay stuff back and blow up the credit, can't get a decent loan now. So it's just like this cycle of and then if you do get a loan, they give you terrible rates. Like it's
because again, it's invisible redlining.
Welcome to America.
How do you keep people from moving somewhere? You keep the prices high. You know, it's kind of funny because if you look at Cheltenham, I think Cheltenham kind of is one of the perfect examples because they put no business there or anything, you know, and it solely depends on the school tax. And it's great when everybody could afford the school tax. Now the school tax is super, super high. You still don't have businesses here. You still, you know, now it's a problem. Because again, you do stuff because you want to control who moves in and who moves out. And Cheltenham to some would say unfortunate.
That ain't working.
That
That
many
ain't working.
mom and pop shops. I never noticed that.
The businesses.
Yeah, it's all like this big mega corporation.
But not here in Shelton. If you notice, they're outside of Cheltenham. Abington has them. Jacobstown has them. Cheltenham has no real business.
We got
Nope.
silly.
And I don't know how, but if you look at ShopRite and all them, they're not considered Cheltenham because you look at their charge like ShopRite.
They say Winco though.
Yeah, but they were charging the Philadelphia soda tax.
Mm.
They were charged. Now you can't have it both ways. They were charging the soda tax because
Yeah.
when I was with your mom and you go in certain stores over there, like our sales tax, I guess it's still 6%. When everybody went up to 7%,
Mhm.
some of them stores in the mall charge you 7%. Now I don't know if they getting over and keep pocketing the percent. I don't know.
Of course
But
they're
if you
getting
look at some of your receipts when you go in the mall, they're not charging you all Cheltenham tax. They even know when the cops come. You know when cops show up. But I'm just telling you. It's different, man. And I think, but see, it goes back to us not truly understanding freedom. We thought freedom was gonna have my own, but we, to your point, you said it, we didn't take care of it, or we got the building, but we didn't get the resources that come with the building.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so yeah, we got our own, but you know, back when, and I'm not saying go back to it, but back when we were forced to be separate, you know, we had teachers, you know, we had professors, you know, we had people, we had educators.
Yeah.
And I go back to my statement I said before when they made the comment, when the professor made the comment about kids that they're dumber than kids in the graduating class of 1950. Yeah. Because but it's crazy. But because you would think in 2025 going in 26 we would be a lot better off. You would think that because of the so-called progress we were supposed to have made and all things.
You know, there is a point in time where we had to fight for our freedoms. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and I think. And that was across so many, not even just a black thing. Like, it was just like our history was of America just constantly fighting for these freedoms and just kind of trying to push things forward. And I think we've gotten to a point where we've kind of taken those things for granted.
Yeah.
And we don't fight for it continuously anymore.
Because I think we don't recognize it's a different fight.
Yeah, that's it.
We think fight, we can fight. We don't understand you can fight with your vote, you can fight with your brain. You know, you can fight where you spend your money. You know, like we just got talking about that. How we fight for I mean, can you imagine if African Americans said, you know what, we're not going to buy Nike for a month, or you know what, we're not going to go to Chick-fil-A.
Fighting for people to support us
for a month. You know, or we say, look, we'll shop at Chick-fil-A, but you got to give a percentage to your local school. You imagine what would happen? Well, we never going to do that. We never will do that, man. And I think that should be a requirement. You know, you got a business in a neighborhood, man, local school. You should be doing something in the community.
Because then you're gonna have to cook, and a lot of us can't do that after this.
Yeah, but there's other places to get food from. I'm saying there's other places to go to for a short period of time. It ain't okay not to have Chick-fil-A for a month.
It might. They putting stuff in the food.
Yeah,
that's a whole
different show.
Like,
I was just thinking
that's another part of our freedoms that we can't even eat
what we want.
Quality, fresh food at any level.
There's a Caucasian guy who he made a Chick-fil-A somewhere down south. They had to put it up because he says that some of the ingredients they use in their food is addictive.
Yes,
it's addictive.
Yeah, I know that. Yeah,
and Chick-fil-A always been around. It wasn't that great.
So he made
okay. But then it got to a point where everybody was just.
Well, the thing about Chick-fil-A,
the line around the corner.
The thing that made Chick-fil-A explode was the fact that it wasn't in neighborhoods. This is the closest they got to a neighborhood.
Yeah.
And so it was new to everybody. To your point, it was new. Yeah, it wasn't unclose. And then they put it here, even though it's not really in the hood. You know, he was smart. Now you got two over there. You know, but so that made it explode because now it's accessible. It became accessible to people. You know, people like, yo, Chick-fil-A, this is a great thing. So I can go right there. Yeah.
Yeah. But like you said, it's not just Chick-fil-A. Everybody is all the foods.
Look at freedom, man. I can go to Chick-fil-A because I'm free to go.
Like I seen a video just referencing food. Somebody from here in the States took a burger from Burger King and left it out for 3 months. Somebody he kind of was friends with overseas in Japan, they did the same thing. Bought a Big Mac, left it out for 3 months. The one in Japan rotted. The one here in the States was the same. When we went to the Caymans, like the one thing that I thought or felt different about, I was like, the food here is
fresher.
Yeah, right. Like the strawberries and the fruit, like it spoiled or went bad a little bit faster, right?
But
like
because it was better. When we was walking around, your mom and I
Not
walking around the
sprayed
supermarket, the
everything.
meat looked better.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything was better.
Everything just looked and tasted better. Like it was like not having all of the extra junk added to it.
Chemicals and all that.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Like that, I don't know if it's true or not. I was in a guys I grew up with. We get together talking. One of the guys is like he's like a scientist. So and he was saying how based on his research, he was saying how a lot of stuff that these kids eat is why they act like that. That it's causing behavioral problems, man, and it's messing with the memory and the decision making ability.
And all that.
And simple
Can't
stuff,
concentrate.
man. Like we were talking about how a lot of these kids don't have a sense of right and wrong anymore. When you tell them, it registers, but in the act of while they're doing something, they can't put the correlation together. And he was saying that's why.
Yeah, I'm not
He said,
surprised.
they use these drugs, man.
The food and also just TikTok just drugging these kids up, and then you make them sick, and then you prescribe the medicine. That's how you just make it a factory, and you can do that from birth to when
but
you
it's
go all the way
programmed
through adulthood, and it's crazy. It's mental health and physical
but it's
health.
programming to educate.
Mental
So I
and
was
physical.
so educated about a kid, and that's the first thing she said. He needs to be on medication. And the kid has anger problems.
Yeah.
Medication is not going to fix this kid. The kid's anger problems come from you got a jacked up home life. The kids, that's the trauma he's dealing with.
It's easy to just throw some drugs at it,
But the problem is when the medication is kind of
can't make no money off
like
that.
a dog
You just
chasing
talking.
the cat. Yeah, but when the medication wears off and when parents can't afford the medication, what do you do then?
Well, then you can arrest them.
They're seniors
Get that
coming back
money.
to work at an alarming rate because they can't afford the medicine.
Like that's what's like I said that actually
they can't afford the medicine. So like, is a lady
they don't take care of people with mental health issues.
Well, because they don't see mental
throw them
health
in
as being a real
prison. They throw them
issue.
in prison.
They don't see it as being a real issue, and they don't.
And they just in there going crazy, then they put them back out on the street, and then it's just that cycle.
I just saw today, and I had to like swipe it off my phone. This guy he killed 6 people and they let him out on bail. He got a $9 million bill. He made the bill, but he killed 6 people. They let him out. I swiped it off, man. I just turned it off.
I need to know.
But the guy who allegedly kidnapped the girl and killed her here.
I know he was.
they
supposed
found
to
her.
Yeah, but I'm saying he had multiple runs under the law.
And again, Krasner letting them off. And
No, because freedom, man. I got the right. I'm just telling you, and I think everybody has this total definition about what people's rights are. What about the people who got murdered? What about their rights? What about the family who has to, had to deal with this? What about their rights? Especially the family that didn't get justice.
Yeah.
But I think, again, it comes back to, I think there's so many definitions of freedom, man. And I think that's the problem. And it's just, everybody has different definitions. And freedom to some people mean I got the right to do whatever I want to do. Freedom to some people means, that I have to be responsible for my choices. It's like, I use the example when I'm talking to kids. When I used to work at night and I used to come from the shelter in Center City, every light on Broad Street would be green except when you got to Broad in Somerset. It was red. And there were always a cop sitting in that parking lot there. And you could, on the other side, since you couldn't see. So if you ran a red light, you got a ticket. Now, freedom said I could have ran the light because every other light was green. But guess what? I would have got a ticket every time. And there was people who came down there who just didn't stop because they saw the green light, not realize that they cops sitting right around there just waiting for them. And it was every night. Now, you had the right to do what you wanted to do there. But there's a penalty you had to pay.
Your freedoms come with a moral obligation.
Very well put. Very well put.
Reactions.
Very well put.
Like that ultimately is like what it is. It's like, same thing. Like, you got the right to bear arms and all these things, but that comes with some moral.
But it's funny because you got the right to bear arms, until somebody starts shooting back.
Like, you got the right to say what you want to say.
It brings a certain kind of energy to
Yeah.
So it's like, I think you do have all the freedoms and rights to do a lot of things, and I think it is, just kind of being morally responsible with those things. And like I think we need to get back to kind of fighting for it and fighting for each other. I know we said at the top of this about like 85% we think people are selfish, so it's going to be tough to see us fighting for each other. But I've seen this too. It's like probably one of those things you've heard before. It's like kind of everything needs to blow up and fall apart just so you can put it back together.
Well, I mean, it's because I do a workshop, and one of the questions, the title of the workshop is what you wanted to fight for. The stuff that most people fight for is stupid, man. We'll fight somebody talking about mama. We'll fight because somebody moving my block who don't look like us. We'll fight because I want my daughter going to prom, not closing the school. But do we fight about things that are important? Do we fight about, improving the education system? Do we fight about we got poor teachers and our teachers who are not teaching up to par?
Mhm.
No. Do we fight because our kids don't have the proper stuff they need to make it? Are we fighting now because the government shut down? They're about to cut these SNAP programs, so some people are going to go? No. Are we fighting because they're talking about cutting free lunch, which is going to impact so many kids? So I mean, nah. So we don't fight about the things we should fight about. But we'll get into a fight, about football, about baseball, basketball.
Basketball.
Just like it's funny because Isaiah Rodgers, perfect example. He played the worst game of the year. He played against the Eagles. Worst game. He's been playing that all pro caliber to that game. Man, he talked about all the racial threats he got from the Viking fans and everything, man, when the game was over. So,
Right.
But he did something that was smart. He put him on blast,
Mm-hmm.
so the people were trying to take it down real quick because he put it. But it's a game. It's a football game.
And you true colors come out.
Yeah, but that's my point. It's
Let you know how you feel about you.
Yeah.
Or don't go anywhere.
Brian Baldinger was talking about this, and he said he could, the captain said, disappointed Philadelphia fans, something matters. So I was listening to him. He was saying, even after the Viking game, the way Hurts playing, people talking, you know what people talking about, when are we going to get rid of him? He's terrible. He said, wait a minute, dude just had the game of life. Yeah, he got to go. Yeah, he got to go.
In Eagles
history. And then they get mad because people say you don't
only one in the league thus far.
But what people don't understand is, and like Nick Burleson had to apologize because he's another guy lived under a rock because he wins, and he's one of the only quarterbacks that can win any way you want to play this game. If you need him to run, he's gonna run. If you need him to throw, he's gonna throw. If you need him, he does all these different things well.
Who else can do that? And
but the problem is again race. It comes back to the whole race thing, and then people say stuff because they think they have the freedom to say it. So he did what I think it was smart. More people should have did. He put it out there. So they were trying to take it down and everything, act like they didn't say it. And they were apologizing. That is smart. That more people should do it. But then it came out that there's guys all over the league was saying this. That I get certain games, how they get all the hate stuff and different stuff come in, man.
That might need to be the way. That's quite entertaining.
It's the same thing with Travis